How's it going, everybody? The Seer here, and today I wanted to go over the entirety of the Absolute A-Force kit. Now, earlier today, you guys saw that all of the envoys and content creators were able to discuss for the members, whereas Benny Westside had the exclusivity of doing Ms. Marvel Classic. Now, I was very happy for him. That's his favorite character, so having him being able to deliver that information for you all, I was very happy that he was able to do that. But what I wanted to do was throw an infographic together that you see right now to where we can kind of discuss what each of the members brings to the team. Ms. Marvel Classic is an absolute monster, and this team is going to be very good in Alliance War. But the thing is, a lot of their kit isn't really locked to Alliance War. Certain parts of it are, but this team is going to be very good in Cosmic Crucible. I could see them being very good going against Null and Battle World as well. This team is going to be very good as far as an all-round team. When we have like Kiln Tower or Sword Satellite, this team is going to excel in that game mode too. So let's go ahead and take a look to see what this team delivers. So for Corey's basic, this is going to be doing piercing damage and drain. This is going to be that percent damage that she does. She'll be flipping positive effects into negative effects. In war, it's flipping all positive effects into negative effects. This does have the exposed mechanic on it to where she's going to be applying blind on there, and a charge mechanic to where she's able to give additional charges to certain members of the team. Now, on her basic, that is going to be prolonging the duration of one positive effect up to a maximum of 2. So for the start of the match, when she takes that double turn, that's going to help it to where her buffs aren't just going to expire when the match officially starts off. Now, if she ever gets mind control, she's going to be doing less damage to her team, and she's not going to be doing the delivering the effects that's listed above. For Corey's special, energy cost is a 1/4. She's going to be clearing all barrier from all enemies, and then doing piercing damage to all enemies, and then doing drain as well. Now, if any of those enemies have safeguard, she's going to be doing double damage to those. And if they don't have safeguard, she's going to be flipping 5 positive effects into negative effects on all enemies. She will also be applying defense down for 2 turns, heal block for 2 turns, 2 bleeds for 1 turn to all enemies. If there's no positive effects on them, they're also going to be getting trauma. That is a devastating move that's not locked behind Alliance War. Now, she is going to be putting exposed on all support enemies and then doing a health redistribution to her allies. I believe it's all allies and not the absolute A-Force team, which is very good. Now, in Alliance War, this cannot be blocked, dodged, or counterattacked. For her ultimate, this is an energy cost of a 2/4. She's going to be doing damage to a primary and adjacent for piercing, applying defense down for 2 turns, so it's going to be doing damage and then putting the defense down out there. It's also going to be putting heal block for 2 turns, disrupt for 2 turns, and trauma for 2 turns. So she has a lot of trauma that she can put out there. Now, if any enemies have safeguard, she's going to be doing double damage, and then she's going to be filling her speed bar by 100%. Again, this is not locked behind Alliance War, so having her get those double or triple turns is going to be pretty clutch. Now, in war, this is going to be unavoidable, cannot be blocked or counterattacked. For Corey's passive, on spawn, after all characters on spawn effects happen, she's going to get her speed bar filled by 200%. She's going to attack the enemy controller with the highest focus for piercing and apply exposed. While above 50% health, she cannot gain slow. Also, her damage and focus can only be reduced by offense down. So I believe that is more for if she has an exhaust mechanic on her. The focus and damage isn't going to be getting reduced. I think that's what that's mainly used for. The other portion of her passive is going to be talking about the exposed. So in war, if there's 4 or more absolute A-Force allies, enemies cannot fill their speed bar for themselves or allies. Also, the enemy cannot gain stealth or charged, and they cannot barrier themselves or their allies. In war, lower the assist chance by 100%, and everywhere, if they have exposed, they revive chance is reduced by 100%. So that's very important as well. So if we can plug her with, say, like a Nightcrawler, and that's going to make it to where that character in like Cosmic Crucible, they're not going to be able to revive. As far as Medusa goes, she looks more like the beat stick on the team, so you do want to build her high. However, I don't think she's going to be one of the more important characters on the team. In Alliance War, she will be, but outside, I'm not positive yet. So for her basic, she's going to be dealing piercing damage. It's going to repeat once. It does less damage to absolute A-Force. That way, she's not kind of murdering her own teammates with her basics. For this special, energy cost is a 4/4. It's going to be piercing damage, and she also gains a 60% crit chance and crit damage if you meet the criteria, which is, I think, 3 other absolute A-Force or having Black Bolt on the team. Now, characters killed by this ability cannot be revived, and this also ignores defense up, and it cannot be blocked or dodged. For her ultimate, this is a 3/5 energy cost. She will be attacking the primary and adjacent for piercing. Again, a 60% crit chance and crit damage if you meet the criteria, which again, I believe is 3 other members of Absolute A-Force or having Black Bolt as an ally. Characters killed cannot be revived if they get killed by this ability. This also ignores defense up. It cannot be blocked or dodged. For the passive, enemies cannot spawn with evade or death proof. That is very valuable because they don't have evade. Then when Corey ends up taking her double turn, she can kind of do the flips right off the bat and not have to worry about being dodged for that. Now in Alliance War, enemies cannot spawn with defense up or speed up. Protector and blaster enemies cannot spawn with charged. Protector enemies cannot spawn with safeguard. The damage is going to be lowered by 20%. Resistance lowered by 80%. She is going to be gaining 10% speed along with her absolute A-Force allies. That is only an Alliance Force. That is pretty important to know. Ms. Marvel Classic, she is basically what Captain America wishes he could be. She is going to go all day, and it's going to be very difficult getting through her. I can see Absolute A-Force being a defensive brick house to try to get through right off the bat, and then people's going to start pulling them off when counters kind of get discovered, and then they're going to be able to take out pretty much anything in Alliance War. She's going to be a very big part of that. Now for her basic, she's going to be dealing damage and then apply defense up and regeneration. In War, she's going to be healing self and all absolute A-Force. If there's 2 or fewer charges, she's going to be gaining +3 charge up to a maximum of 3. For the special, energy cost is a 4/4. She's going to attack the primary and adjacent, and that's going to have a 20% drain effect. She's going to heal self in all A-Force. She's also going to be giving out +2 evade and 2 regeneration. In Alliance War, this cannot be blocked or dodged. Now her opening ability is devastating. It really is. So it's a long cooldown of a 10/10. She's going to be attacking the primary. She's going to be putting defense down on them for 2 turns, heal block for 2 turns, and the damage increases by 50% per charge. So as you see, getting the charges up on her is going to be very important. So Corey dishing out the charges to Ms. Marvel Classic is going to be pretty clutch. Now she is going to be clearing all negative effects from self and all allies, and then healing self and all absolute A-Force members. So clearing the negative effects is to all allies. That's pretty important as far as like a plug and play use, if you can try to find a way to use her there. As far as the heal self and all absolute A-Force, she then is going to be putting out 2 regeneration for 1 turn, defense up for 2 turns, immunity for 1 turn, and safeguard for 1 turn. In Alliance War, this cannot be blocked or dodged. For her passive, when attacked and she has charge, she's going to be healing herself and all absolute A-Force allies. She's going to be flipping 2 bleed, clearing 2 negative effects as well. That after that happens, she's going to drop 1 of her charges off, and on any turn or turn end, if she still has charge, she's going to be gaining time. So if your opponent does like a Spider-Man big time where he does the ultimate to flip and try to get the taunt off, if she doesn't have disrupt, which we're going to see later on here, then she's going to get time reapplied right back to her. Because as you see, as if she has charge, she cannot gain trauma, heal block, disrupt. So that Spider-Man Big Time ultimate isn't going to end up putting the disrupt on her, so she's going to get reapplied back to her. She can't get defense down, slow, or stun. Now, when she loses charge, all of her charges, she's going to be clearing the taunt, clearing 2 negative effects from self and all absolute A-Force allies, then apply offense up, speed up, and 2 counter. So even if she loses her charges, she's going to get speed up, and then she's going to be able to get a charge back on, and then she can get the taunt train going again. So she's going to be very difficult to control, and it's going to be difficult to get through her. The continuation of her passive. So while in Alliance War, on spawn, she's going to gain 5 charge up to a maximum of 5. So she'd only top out at 5 charges at any given time. When this character or an absolute A-Force ally drops below 40% health, clear disrupt from that character, apply defense up, 2 evade, 2 death proof, and safeguard to them. So she really protects her team and keeps the team going. On an enemy death, apply safeguard and immunity to self and all absolute A-Force. So as they're killing people off, it's going to be more and more difficult to really get through this team. So it's going to be a interesting team to try to get through, as you see. Now, while charged, she's also going to have a 25% damage reduction, so she's going to be taking less damage, and she has an extra 1000% resistance. So if she has charges, you really can't do anything to her. You just have to kind of bide your time. Now, as far as Ironheart goes, for her and Wasp, I did end up going to the website, kind of comparing what the current kit is and what was added into the blog. So for her basic, there really isn't anything to it. She's just going to attack and then call in Corey as an assist on there, which that is very impactful. Getting Corey to do an assist attack, so that way she's like flipping positive effects and getting charges out there for Ms. Marvel Classic, that's going to be important. For her special, energy cost is a 4/4. She's going to attack the primary and adjacent. Also, what she currently has is a reduced speed bar for primary and adjacent by 20%. That wasn't listed in the blog, so she should still keep that aspect of her kit, because that would be a pretty big nerf to her, and they don't like nerfing kits like this, so she should keep that turn meter rewind on there. She is going to also be applying ability block to the primary target, and in war, this cannot be dodged. For the ultimate, energy cost is a 4/6. She's going to attack all enemies, apply defense down for 2 turns. In Alliance War, if there's 3 or more absolute A-Force, she's going to be dealing extra damage to all enemies and gaining 100,000% extra focus, and this cannot be dodged. For her passive, on spawn, apply defense up to self and all tower armor and absolute A-Force members. Now, something else that was listed on there, which it didn't listed on the blog itself, but it is showing in game still, is for herself and tech allies. They get an additional 40% resistance, 15% max health, and 15% armor. I don't know if this portion of the kit is going to be going away. If it's not, this is also going to be boosting up Wasp, because she is a tech ally. So that's going to be something to keep in mind. Now, Wasp, she's going to be kind of more the controller on the team, because she does have that stun on there and a turn meter rewind. She has a nice AoE attack as well. So for her basic, she's going to attack a primary and chain. Currently, as it stands, it says counterattack breaks this chain. That could still be a thing. For her special, its energy cost of a 4/4. She's going to attack 1 target, get stun on them, bonus attack 3 times. Now, if there's 3 or more A-Force, it's going to be reducing the speed bar by 30%. I don't know, and it shouldn't be this way. It should just be that one time 30% reduce of turn meter. I don't think it's going to be like 4 hits of reducing the turn meter. So definitely keep that in mind. It should just be a single 30% reduction. Now, in Alliance War, this cannot be blocked or dodged. For her ultimate, she's going to be attacking all enemies, and this is the energy cost of a 3/5, so this is her turn 2 ability. So attack all enemies. They cannot be counterattacked. In war, if there's 3 or more absolute A-Force, It's going to be dealing extra damage to all enemies. In war also, it cannot be blocked or dodged. Now her passive is interesting. She already has a 25% dodge chance built into the passive. So I don't think that part is being removed. It could be, but I don't think it is. She also has a call out for Dark Dimension on spawn. If there's 4 or more Pimtech, apply immunity for 2 turns to self and all Pimtech. We really don't care about that portion of it because we're not taking Pimtech into Dark Dimension. What the blog said is just the on spawn gain charge. When attacked, lose a charge. Gain plus 10% dodge chance per charge. In Alliance War, on spawn gain 3 charge instead. Also, it says gain an additional 25% dodge chance per charge instead. So that should be a 35% chance of a dodge for each charge in war. So that's why I don't know if the initial 25% dodge chance is being removed from her or not. So we do want to keep an eye on that, because if that's the case, she's going to have some crazy dodges right off the bat. It might just end up being the 10% than whatever she currently has for her baked in stats portion of it. So we're going to monitor this, see if she does keep that initial dodge. But this was something I kind of wanted to go over, was the entirety of the kit, just like a little summary of it as far as what we can kind of expect. This team is going to be pretty crazy. Like I mentioned in the blog post video that I did, the way the war teams are being kind of shifted into the game right now. We had the Astral team to where their Awaken abilities goes into Alliance War. The Undying team where they're that S tier team, but they're all epics. Mercs for Money and Astral both had that legendary. This team has no legendary, no epic, no mythic. It has just regular characters on there. So this is going to be a very good team. Once this team the events happen, this is going to be great access for mid-game players that's kind of building up their rosters to have that kind of Apex War team is what I'm seeing. And the fact that this team should be good in Cosmic Crucible, Battle World, both tower modes when they end up coming out. Definitely invest in this team. It's going to be very good for a very long time, because right now it looks like they're kind of shifting out anything that was an old meta war team with the new ones, because this is the 3rd Alliance War team that we've had in a row. So we have to stay tuned, see what the next following teams are going to be used for. But it looks like they're definitely kind of shifting out the old for the new, which, considering it's a new meta stats and everything, new meta game, I'm kind of fine with that. Kind of get out the old so we can really have teams to take out these bigger, newer teams that's coming to the game. But let me know what you guys think. Do you like this type of video to where I kind of do a quick summary, kind of discuss what the abilities do? If you do, I'll kind of do these more often. Now, if you did enjoy it, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of the day.